Hey, what's up? It's Orion with Avant Samples. We just released our new sample pack with Dread MC. So what better time would it be to talk about vocal processing and showcasing some of these vocals. So here we have this project, little demo I made, and here it is without any vocals right now. Nice and open. Can definitely implement some vocals into this. So we're going to be using this raw sample.
My level, 2 coda, alpha, yo, and omega.
So let's just start off with dragging it in straight from the pack. Completely raw, just how we recorded it. So this file is at 174 BPM. Here we're going to listen to it and see how it sounds. So first off, really quiet. Let's change the complex pro. It's out of time as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the start position, hold down command or control, and drag that to the first downbeat of the vocal.
My level, 2 coda, alpha, yo, and omega.
Sounds much better.
Sharp and vulgar, just bang the beat, the slammer.
So the first thing that I would probably start off with doing would be going in here and seeing, we have a lot of dynamics in this mix here. So we have this large peak from the vocal, and then we have the rest of these small points. We want to equal those out and bring them down closer together. So what we can do is grab a compressor. Bring in stock Ableton compressor. I'm going to use peak mode instead of RMS. This is just a way, so if we look in here,
Yo and omega.
peak is going to be this peak setting. It's going to be the dark green as well.
My tongue is sharp.
And then RMS will be
Yo and omega.
this light green. And then expand is doing a reverse of downward compression. It expands it. I believe it goes off of peak.
Yo and omega.
We're just going to bring it down, and we're going to want to bring in the peaks of this, because we don't really want like an attacky vocal. We want just the vocal to be mellowed out. We want to bring these high points down, and then we can smooth it out with another compressor after that. So go and bring in the attack.
My tongue is sharp.
We're going to bring down the knee. The knee is basically how aggressive the compression kicks in. So with a higher knee, it's more gradual. But since we're doing like a peak compression, we're going to bring down the knee, and then we're also going to change the look ahead. It just makes a nicer sound.
Alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar.
And we're going to match the ins and outs on this.
And hammer, code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this grammar. My level, 2 coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer.
Just evens out the vocal.
Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this grammar.
It's not too noticeable by the ears, but it makes a big improvement in the mix and loudness of the whole vocal. And we're going to grab another compressor after that, and we're just going to squash it a little bit more. We're going to have a little bit longer attack and a little bit longer release, a little bit higher of a knee, and once again having that look ahead.
My level, 2 coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar.
We're just evening it out.
Discharge and hammer, code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this grammar.
We will match the ins and outs, so we don't have any loudness bias when we're double checking our work.
My level, 2 coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer. Discharge.
It's definitely bringing out some of the lower mids from this vocal. So let's grab an EQ and kind of roll off the lows and lower mids.
My level, 2 coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar.
I'm hearing that this
2 coda, 2 coda.
That 2 is a little bit too aggressive, so I'm gonna bring back the attack even more.
2 coda.
See if that helps.
My level, 2 coda.
Yeah, it does.
My level, 2 coda. My level, 2 coda. My level, 2 coda. My level, 2 coda.
Okay. That sounds pretty good with that. I'm also going to grab a Pro DS. Since that is a pretty sibilant sound, we can get rid of that with the Pro DS. Ableton doesn't really have that great of a de-esser inside of it, so I recommend either getting like Soothe, Pro DS, or just a VST that's made for de-essing and getting those sibilants out. So go and change into split band, and
my level, 2 coda.
You see that is just getting rid now.
My level, 2 coda.
So
my level, 2 coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer. Discharge and hammer, code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this grammar. Nightmare is what it's made of. You hear him breaking laws. I retina open doors. Bloodline is in your...
Cool, that's seeming pretty good. Let's see before
my level,
and after.
2 coda. My level, 2 coda. My level, 2 coda. My level, 2 coda. My level, 2 coda.
Yep, it's catching it quite nice.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This just.
That's pretty much cleaning up the vocal now. Let's try to get this fitting just a little bit better. We're going to do that with a vinyl distortion. I like the vinyl distortion because it adds in the second harmonics, or the even harmonics, into a mix instead of the third harmonics.
My level, 2 coda.
So we're going to just dial it in, and it's pretty damn aggressive.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha,
if you're
yo,
not careful with it. So we're changing it from pinch from soft to hard. It's a little bit softer of a distortion. I find it's less full body distortion and more like in a certain range. For these vocals,
level, 2 coda.
I like having it around the 1K mark because I find that I want to boost those frequencies a lot more.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega.
Put back the drive.
Alpha, yo, and Omega.
This.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this. My level, 2 coda. My
Just
level,
adds a
2
little bit
coda.
of grit into it. And let's listen to it in the mix now.
2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this.
Stands out a little bit more. And I'm also just going to add a saturator. It is still a little bit quiet, so I'm just going to add back some gain and some distortion.
2 coda, Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this grammar. Nightmare is what it's made of. You hear him breaking laws. I retina open doors. My level, 2 coda.
It's sounding a little bit boxy around
My
here.
level, 2 coda.
So let me just
and
duck
Omega.
that a bit.
My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer.
Let's raise up
My
some of the
level,
highs.
2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this grammar. Nightmare.
Yeah, there we go. Just trying to dial in the overall feel of these vocals.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line.
It's definitely fitting in the mix a lot better than without this. Next up, I'm going to just add in some delay into this. Personally, I like using just the stock Ableton delay.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega.
I'm going to bring back dry wet, and we're also going to bring back an EQ.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo.
So with this one, the song doesn't really have a dotted 8th note pattern to it. It has a more of a 16th and 8th note pattern. So we're going to use 2 16th notes, which is just 8 notes. In the delay.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer.
Add some width into it. And then what you could do is you could group this and do some parallel processing on it. If you find like the delay to be competing with the vocal too much, but you want it to have to stand out and fill some areas of the vocal, so like all the dead areas right here, you can go in full dry wet on here, and then we're going to do peak. You're just going to sidechain it to itself.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear.
I don't really like that sound on this vocal. I kind of want to keep the stereo width of it all the time. So I'm just going to be doing the dry
My
wet.
level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk.
Okay, now we're going to add in some reverb. But first, let's see how this sounds in the mix.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer.
Here it comes on both sides. Next, we're going to add in some reverb. Hybrid reverb is definitely my favorite reverb currently, besides Pro R. You can just get, with pretty much all convolution reverbs, you can get really authentic sounding rooms. I like going through plates is super nice, springs super nice, textures is really cool on basses. I mean, all these are great. Just cycle through them, see what textures you can get out of it.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This judge.
So the first reverb that I'm going to have is going to be more putting it inside of a room. It's going to add more width to the vocal as well and help it stand out. And I'm going to add a tail reverb after this.
My level, 2 coda. Alpha, yo, and Omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the
A little bit too much low mids.
Nightmare is what it's made of. You hear him breaking laws. I retina. My level, two coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer.
And just puts it in a room.
My level, two coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer.
Takes up more of the center field. It's not too wide, but takes up, instead of just dead mono, it takes up more of a stereo field, which is nice and helping it stand out a little bit more. I'm going to do another hybrid reverb, but this time I'm going to have it be probably a bigger spring, I believe. I think that might sound nice.
My level, two coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this grammar. Nightmare is what it's made of. You hear them breaking loose. I read the open doors. The line is in your pulse. It be the age of war. I'm on it. Get more. Closing you can't ignore. I'm like an animal out here. Yeah, do it. My level, two coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this grammar. Nightmare is what it's made of. You hear him breaking laws. I read the open doors. Bloodline is in your pores. It be the age of war. I'm on it, get more. Closing you can't ignore. I'm like an animal out here. Yeah, do it raw. My level, two coda. My level.
Nice. That is sounding much better in the mix. It is a little quiet still, so I am going to add in some gain with the saturator.
Two coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear. My level, two coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer.
Maybe too much delay. Too much reverb on this.
Nightmare is what it's made of. You hear him breaking laws.
I want the effects to be like additive to it and not be trying to take away from that vocal. I really want it to stand out, so I'm just bringing those back, but still getting some effect from them. Okay, and I just have this reverse vocal in here, and super easy to do. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take go over here. Paste it, take a reverb algorithm, maybe like that. Yeah, so we're going to take that, and then we're going to record from 45 and record that out. Right, take that back, press R to reverse, delete that, get the reverb off of it.
Level, two coda, alpha, yo, and omega.
Cool. Of course you can go in and fine tune it more, but it's the gist of it.
My level, two coda, alpha, yo, and omega. My tongue is sharp and vulgar. Just bang this beat, the slammer. This judge and hammer. Code line, you know the scammer. Street talk, you hear this grammar. Nightmare is what it's made of. You hear him breaking laws. I read the open doors. Bloodline is in your pores. It be the age of war. I'm on it, get more. Closing you can't ignore. I'm like an animal out here. Yeah, do it raw. My level, two coda. My level, two coda. My level, two coda. My level, two coda. My
That's how I would go about synthesizing vocals to fit inside of a tube. Let me know, drop a comment if you got any questions about these vocals. Fontsamples.com. Yeah, later.